I awakened the most pathetic F-rank ability water drop, only good enough for the school beauty to moisten her lips. My classmates all laugh at me and call me deadweight. So when it comes to combat, they shove me out front as bait without a second thought, but a second later, the one who is supposed to be bait starts tearing through everything. All because I've awakened the sublimation system, subliming the most useless water drop ability into a beyond triple S rank power, the wrath of the sea god. A heavy wind carries a suffocating weight through the air, sweeping through the crumbling walls of an abandoned steel mill. A rough shove sends me stumbling gravel skitters under my feet with a sharp, grating crack. I catch my balance and brush off the faded white cuffs of my uniform. My eyes sweep across the pitch-black entrance of the factory ahead. Something is growling inside, deep rumbling vibrations packed together. At least a dozen of them. The lowest rank ability users should know their place as bait. Leighton's unhurried voice drifts from behind me. The young master of the Lin family in Avonmore is twirling a staff that blazes solid red from tip to base, the dancing flame at its tip lighting up the cold smirk at the corner of his mouth. A tier 2 fire element staff. Top grade. That staff alone could feed 3 generations of an ordinary family. Pathfinder unit in position, shouts one of Leighton's lackeys. Pay attention, cowards. This is where the weakest end up. Dozens of students taking the combat assessment stand behind the safety line, their expressions unreadable. Some pitying, some relieved. Relieved it isn't them being shoved out there. Poor guy. F-rank water drop an ability that's just spitting water. I heard he ranked dead last at the awakening ceremony a month ago. Got sent straight to the Vanguard bait unit. The Vanguard bait unit exists to take the hits so the real fighters don't have to. Getting picked for it, there's nothing you can do. Whispers worm their way in. I tune them all out. I fish a coin from my pocket, rusted, its edges worn bright from handling. I toss it up, catch it, toss it again. My gaze isn't on the factory entrance. It's fixed on the pale blue translucent panel only I can see. Sublimation system status, inactive. Activation condition, shock points accumulated to 100%. Current progress, 99%. 1 month. From the day I was labeled F-rank at the awakening ceremony, this panel has been sitting in the upper right corner of my vision. Every time someone mocks me, looks down on me, or stomps on my dignity, the progress bar ticks forward. A month of cold stares and humiliation has built up 99%. Just a little more. I catch the coin. My fingertip traces the rough, rusted surface. The corner of my mouth lifts, just slightly. Leighton's right. I turn around, my tone is casual as if I'm discussing what's for lunch. Those tier 1 Galewind wolves in there, I'm counting on you to put on a great show, Leighton. Leighton narrows his eyes. He can't read my expression. A weakling about to be shoved into a wolf den shouldn't be looking at anyone like that. Too calm. Calm enough to be unsettling. But that unease lasts half a second before his towering sense of superiority crushes it flat. F-rank after all. A nobody who can barely squeeze a few drops of water from his fingertips, no matter how hard he plays it cool. It doesn't change the fact that he's going to get crushed. Enough talk. Leighton pulls back his staff and jerks his chin toward the factory. Get in. Ding. Leighton's extreme contempt detected. Shock points plus 10. The number on the panel flickers. Still 99%. No change. I frown slightly. 10 points added, and the bar doesn't move at all. I quickly scan the small gray text at the bottom of the panel, something I never noticed before. Note: total shock points required for activation 10,000. Current total 9,910. Remaining to activation 90 points. Not 1 point. 90. I go quiet for 2 seconds. The bar reads 99%. That's 9,900 points. Add the 10 I just got, and it's 9,910, still 90% short. Based on the past month, an ordinary person's contempt gives 1 to 5 points at most. Even Leighton's extreme contempt as a privileged young master only gives 10%. At this rate, getting to 90% through insults alone would take at least 10 more rounds. But what if? I toss the coin. I look toward the glowing green eyes deep in the factory. The curve at the corner of my mouth turns knowing. If I do something that shocks people badly enough. Move it. What are you standing there for? A lackey shoves me again. I don't resist. I let the push carry me through the entrance. My footsteps echo through the hollow steel ruin. The ceiling overhead is punched through in several places. Pale gray daylight cuts through in narrow beams, lighting up the rusted tracks crisscrossing the floor. The air is thick with a heavy foul smell. Low growls press in from every direction, closing around me. More than 10 pairs of slick green eyes flicker in the shadows. Tier 1 beasts, Galewind wolves. One-on-one they're manageable, but a coordinated pack can tear a Tier 2 awakener apart if they're caught alone. Leighton leads his 4 lackeys around the side, claiming the high ground. He drives the butt of his staff into the ground. Flames roar up and flood the area with light. They're all zeroing in. Leighton smiles. He glances at me, the wolves locked onto my position. Don't be scared. Just stand there and draw their attention. Leave the rest to me. I'll handle it. Much appreciated, Leighton. I stand with my back against the cold iron wall, my voice completely sincere. The first Galewind wolf moves. Its gray shape explodes into speed, a thin layer of pale green cutting edge wrapped around its body as it lunges straight for my throat fast. I don't run. I don't even raise my hand. I just tilt my head slightly. My gaze passes over the lunging wolf and settles on a darker spot further away. There's a faint energy signature there carefully hidden. Not a beast, a person, and a strong one. My attention snaps back. The wolf's claws are 10 centimeters from my throat. My right index finger lifts slightly. A single droplet of water forms at the tip. Tiny. crystal clear, completely unremarkable. F rank ability water drop. The droplet fires silent, blindingly fast, landing precisely on the tear duct of the wolf's right eye. The wolf's head jerks back hard. The reflex makes it veer off in the final 10 centimeters. Its skull slams into the iron wall behind me with a dull thud. It drops, out cold. The whole thing takes less than a second. The hidden energy signature in the shadows ripples just for an instant. My hearing is sharp. I catch a voice barely there, a woman's, cool and clear, with just a thread of surprise. I don't turn around. The corner of my mouth hooks up, just barely. The number on the panel ticks quietly. Ding, mild surprise detected from an unknown observer. Shock points +5. Current total, 9,915. Remaining, 85. Not enough. Nowhere near enough. But that's fine. I pull back my finger and lean against the iron wall again. I watch Leighton across the room, hurling fire and putting on his grand show. The show's just getting started. Meanwhile, after Leighton takes down the third Galewind wolf, he glances back at me, still standing by the wall. Something cold and calculating flickers in his eyes. He leans down and whispers something to the lackey beside him. The lackey nods and pulls a small, sealed vial from inside his jacket. A skull is etched into its surface. Beast lure powder, a banned substance designed to draw in high-rank beasts. Leighton licks his lips. His gaze settles on the back of my uniform. What he wants has never just been to use me as bait. What he wants is the coin, the rusted coin my parents left behind. The Lin family's intelligence reports indicate that the coin contains an energy signature unlike anything they've seen before. Why should an F-rank nobody possess something like that? Better he simply disappears. Leighton shoots a look at the lackey. The lackey understands. He drifts silently toward me, and I'm still leaning against the wall, tossing the coin without a care. The coin spins, tracing an arc through the air. In the firelight, a faint blue glow, nothing like rust, flickers across its surface for just a moment, then vanishes. Nobody notices. The flames swallow the last Galewind wolf. Leighton pulls back his staff and stands tall. His lackeys swarm around him immediately, falling over themselves with praise. Incredible, young Master Leighton. A rank blazing fire, utterly dominant. Now that's a true genius. Unlike some people cowering in a corner shaking, the speaker's eyes drift pointedly toward me. I'm crouched beside the unconscious Galewind wolf, poking its ear with genuine curiosity. Kyle, Leighton walks over wearing a look of concern. You weren't too frightened just now, were you? One of the wolves went for you, I couldn't get there in time. You're not hurt? I'm fine, Leighton. I stand, dusting off my knees. That wolf knocked itself out. Must have been moving too fast to stop. Couldn't break in time and ran straight into the wall. A lackey snickers. Lucky you. Leighton doesn't respond. He doesn't care. A single tier 1 Galewind wolf, so what? Even if I got lucky this time, what does it change? What comes next is all that matters. Everyone rest for 5 minutes. Leighton drops his voice, speaking to his lackeys. Then we'll push into the core zone. As he says this, one lackey has already quietly slipped around behind me, fingers pinching the ceramic vial. He gives the stopper a light twist. An almost imperceptible drift of powder falls and sticks precisely to the inside of my collar at the back of my uniform. Beast lure powder. Colorless, odorless, supposedly. But I catch the faintest trace of a raw, sweet scent, like aged energy mixed with some kind of mineral, faint but there. I catch the lackey's hand in my peripheral vision as he pulls it back. Then I look at the false concern still plastered on Leighton's face. I know exactly what's going on. The panel sits quietly in my vision. Current shock points 9,915. Remaining 85%. Ordinary contempt won't get me there. But if what happens next is dramatic enough, I say nothing. I expose nothing. I simply fall in line and follow the group toward the core zone. My face wears just the right amount of nervousness and timidity. Full performance mode. In the shadows, Sarah crouches on a steel beam 30 meters away. The hem of her black tactical coat shifts lightly in the wind. She is the military's covert assessment supervisor. What I just did firing a water droplet into the wolf's eye, she saw every bit of it. Interesting. 2 words. That's Sarah's entire internal verdict. Nothing more. She's more focused on Leighton's side of things. She caught the smell of the beast lure powder, a military-banned substance appearing in a student assessment. That alone is enough to bring serious trouble down on the Lin family. But she doesn't intervene yet. She needs to see exactly what Leighton is planning, and she wants to see what choice I make when I'm cornered. Will I break down and beg for help, or something else entirely? Core zone. The space deep inside the factory opens up suddenly. Deep claw marks are gouged into the floor. Not from wolves. Each mark is over half a meter wide. The steel plating along the edges is torn and curled back like paper. The lackey's faces change. Young Master Leighton, those claw marks, at least tier 2 or above, right? Leighton scans the floor. His expression doesn't shift. So what? A few stray tier 2 leftovers at most. I can handle them alone. As he says this, his gaze drifts seemingly casually across the collar at the back of my uniform. The beast lure powder takes 15 minutes to fully diffuse. Only 7 minutes have passed. Once the powder reaches full effect, my scent will work like a signal flare, drawing every beast within 3 li to my location. In the chaos that follows, who would even notice one F-rank nobody going down? Leighton counts the minutes in his head. The smile on his face grows steadily more relaxed. What he doesn't know is that my own calculations right now are far more precise than his. 7 minutes in, and no tier 2 beasts have shown up. Only 2 explanations. 1, there genuinely are no tier 2 beasts in this area. 2, something higher rank is already here, and the tier 2s won't set foot in its territory. I look at the half-meter wide claw marks on the floor. Then I look at the jagged holes punched through the ceiling above. Those aren't natural collapse damage. Something smashed through. The roof from outside entered this space and has been here ever since. My My heartbeat holds steady at 62 beats per minute. The floor begins to vibrate, barely perceptible. Slow frequency, like some massive heart beating underground. The lackeys haven't noticed. Leighton is still laughing with someone, but I feel it not coming from far away. It's right beneath my feet. I look down into the gap between the rails. Two dim red points of light flicker in the dark below, like two red-hot iron balls. Those are eyes. I lift my head, my voice completely flat. Leighton, that beast lure powder trick of yours may have pulled in a bit more than you planned. Leighton's face drains of color. The floor explodes. The steel surface splits open from the center. Chunks of concrete and shredded rail fragments launch into the air. A gray beast the size of a small truck bursts up through the crack, its entire body armored in iron-gray shell plating. More Tier 2 ironclad beasts follow right behind it. A second, a third. In just 5 seconds, 12 ironclad beasts erupt from underground, pounding the entire floor of the core zone to rubble. Every single one is locked onto me, or more precisely, onto the scent of beast lure powder still clinging to my collar. Oh God! The lackeys scramble backward, tripping over each other. Leighton's face goes white in the firelight. He had planned for 3 or 5 Tier 2 beasts, at most enough chaos to deal with one person quietly. But 12. This isn't a quiet removal. This is an out-of-control disaster. Everyone fall back! Leighton screams. He slams his staff into the ground. A wall of fire surges up, temporarily blocking the stampede. Move! He turns and runs. All 4 lackeys follow instantly. After 10 or so steps, Leighton spins around and shouts back at me. Hold on, I'm going for backup. Decent performance. But his feet don't slow down for even a moment. I stand still, watching the backs of Leighton and his group disappear into the corridor. My expression is blank. The firewall is already fading. 5 seconds at most before it goes out. I don't run. What I need is shock points. Current shock points, 9,915. Remaining, 85. 85 points. I need an audience that can be shocked hard enough. My gaze sweeps past the steel beam 30 meters away. That hidden energy signature is still there. And with the appearance of the ironclad beasts, its pulse has quickened noticeably. Whoever it is, they're tense, hesitating over whether to step in. Good enough. I flex my fingers and rapidly scan the terrain around me. Rusted rails, collapsed support pillars, a half-caved-in ceiling. The surface of the rails is coated in years of rust, friction coefficient near zero. The pillars are already teetering from the shockwave when the beasts burst through the ground. The hole in the ceiling is positioned just to the upper left of where the beast cluster is. Rubble could fall at any moment. F-rank water drops specifications: maximum water volume, approximately 200 milliliters, range 2 meters. 200 milliliters of water against 12 ironclad beasts head-on, it wouldn't even tickle them. But I was never thinking about going head-on. The firewall dies. All 12 ironclad beasts surge forward at once. Iron hooves shatter the floor as they charge straight at me. I open my eyes. I don't step back. I step right. I land precisely on a fallen steel crossbeam and break into a run, not fleeing, running along the framework, heading toward the rail section along the beast's flank. My route is precise and surgical. Every step lands in the blind spot at the edge of the beast's field of vision. 3 seconds I reach the rail section. Both hands come up at once. Water droplets seep from the tips of all 10 fingers simultaneously. Every last bit of my ability reserves pours out in this moment. Not firing, coating. The droplets spread into a fine water film, coating exactly 3 sections of rail that the beast must cross. A thin, nearly invisible layer on the surface, but it's enough. The first ironclad beast's iron hoof hits the water-filmed rail. The already rust-smooth surface, with the water film added, drops its friction coefficient to nearly zero. 3 tons of ironclad beast, charging at full speed, suddenly loses all grip. Its body lurches hard to the side. Its massive momentum carries it like a runaway cannonball, straight into the already teetering support pillar beside it. Boom, the pillar snaps at the base. The ceiling beam connected to its top comes down with it. Tons of steel fragments drop from above, landing squarely on the second and third beasts charging in behind. Chain reaction: the 4th beast hits the second water film section. The 5th and 6th pile in right behind, colliding in a heap. The remaining beasts find their path blocked by the massive bodies of their own kind. The crash of armored shells against each other thunders through the factory. 5 seconds. The charge of 12 Tier 2 ironclad beasts dismantled in 5 seconds by 200 milliliters of water. On the beam in the shadows, Sarah has straightened up. The fingers gripping her blade handle have gone white from the pressure. Her lips part slightly. Her pupils have shrunk to their limit. F-rank water drop. You did that with F-rank water drop. That's not combat, that's battlefield control at a sweep level. In that instant, what surges up isn't mild surprise, it's a massive, unstoppable shock. The numbers on the panel go wild. Ding, extreme shock detected from unknown observer. Shock points plus 80. Current total, 9,995. Remaining, 5. Just 5 points short. Then I hear footsteps. Leighton is running back. Not because of any sudden conscience. The corridor he ran into is now blocked by another pack of Galewind wolves that caught the beast lure powder scent. Caught between 2 threats with nowhere to go, he has no choice but to come back. Leighton bursts back into the core zone and the sight in front of him short-circuits his brain. 12 ironclad beasts sprawled and piled into a heap of useless wreckage, and I'm standing in the middle of it all, completely unscathed, tossing a rusted coin and catching it. I turn and meet Leighton's eyes. Master Leighton, I smile. Where's that backup? Leighton's lips tremble violently. His brain refuses to process what he's seeing. How did you? Before he can can finish, the floor shakes again, this time not from far away. The source is directly beneath us, beneath a piled wreckage of 12 ironclad beasts, deeper underground. A suffocating wave of crimson dark energy blasts up through the cracks in the floor. The last intact section of the ceiling is smashed from below by a massive crimson palm. Debris rains down through the billowing dust like a storm. A massive black shape drops through the hole in the ceiling and hits the ground. The impact sends everyone staggering. 5 meters tall, its entire body covered in rough, dark red skin, crimson eyes with no pupils, only pure distilled malice. A tier 3 peak lord-class beast, the Blood Rage Ape, the absolute ruler of this ruin. Leighton's staff slips from his hand. He doesn't even have the strength to bend down and pick it up. The Blood Rage Ape lowers its head. Its crimson eyes sweep the room. Then it reaches out one hand and closes it around the nearest lackey. No time to scream. The fingers close. A burst of golden mist explodes outward. Leighton finally finds his voice, a shapeless, broken scream. I stand 15 meters away looking up at this 5-meter monster. The numbers on the panel blink quietly. Current shock points, 9,995. Remaining, 5. My heartbeat is still 62 beats per minute. The coin spins at my fingertips. A blue light flickers past. The Blood Rage Ape's gaze locks onto me. It gives no one time to react. It snatches the second lackey and slams him into the rails. 2 rails snap clean. The last 2 lackeys finally break and bolt. The Blood Rage Ape tilts its head and picks the one on the left. One step 15 meters crossed. Its massive palm comes down. The floor caves into a crater 2 meters deep. It turns. Those crimson eyes fix on Leighton. No, don't come near me. Leighton's teeth are chattering. The flames between his staff shake worse than his hands. He knows running is useless. I am the Lin family heir. Leighton screams. He raises the staff above his head. All of his spiritual energy floods into it wildly. A torrent of flames 2 meters wide blasts directly into the Blood Rage Ape's chest. Take that! The smoke clears. The Blood Rage Ape is still standing. The dark red skin on its chest hasn't even deepened in color. It looks down at its own chest. Then it looks back up at Leighton. Its expression says everything. Is that all? Leighton's pupils contract violently. The Blood Rage Ape lifts one foot and brings it down. The staff shatters. Leighton's right hand, still clutching it, is driven into the floor. My hand! Leighton screams and collapses, his whole body convulsing. Something warm spreads down his pant leg. A sharp, foul smell fills the air. The Blood Rage Ape raises its other hand and brings it down toward Leighton's head. At that exact moment, a streak of ice blue light explodes from the steel beam 30 meters away. Sarah drops from her hiding spot, black coat fanning out in midair, a vibro blade gripped in each hand. She brings both down with full force onto the Blood Rage Ape's spine. S-rank ability Frost Cleave. The moment the blades touch skin, a layer of frost forms across the ape's back, then stops. Sarah feels a terrifying rebound force. Searing pain shoots through the webbing of her hands. Golden energy bleeds down the handles. 2 S-rank vibro blades at full force, and it leaves nothing but a faint white mark on the tier 3 peak lord's back, barely visible. The Blood Rage Ape turns its head. One arm sweeps sideways. Sarah crosses her blades to block. A dull crash, her body flies backward and slams spine first into the furnace wreckage 30 meters away. The iron wall of the furnace caves in around the shape of a human body. She slides out from the dent and drops to both knees. Both blades are driven into the ground, barely holding her body up. Golden light seeps steadily from the corner of her mouth. A military S-rank elite critically wounded in a single strike. Despair floods every chest in the room like molten iron. The Blood Rage Ape turns back to its original target. I'm still standing 15 meters away, in exactly the same posture as before the ape appeared back to the iron wall, coin turning at my fingertips. Heartbeat 62. The numbers on the panel glow quietly. Current shock points, 9,995. Remaining, 5. I lift my head. My gaze passes over the Blood Rage Ape and reaches Sarah, kneeling in the distance. In her ice blue eyes is an emotion I know very well. Not fear, defiance. The pure, helpless despair of someone who has given everything and changed nothing. Run! Sarah forces out a single word, her voice so hoarse it's barely audible. The Blood Rage Ape has already taken a step toward me. I pocket the coin. I pat the dust off my uniform. Easy. My voice is not loud, but it cuts through every echo and every sound of despair with unusual clarity. Then I step out from behind the iron wall and walk toward the Blood Rage Ape. Sarah's pupils blow wide. An F-rank walking straight toward a tier 3 peak lord. In that instant, every bit of her training, every instinct she has, every lesson from every battlefield, none of it can explain the sight in front of her. Her heart skips a beat in her chest, then slams back hard. The last number on the panel ticks. Ding. Sarah's extreme despair detected. Shock points plus 50. Current total, 10,045. Activation condition met. The sublimation system is now officially active. The pale blue panel explodes in front of my eyes, golden light everywhere. The second the golden light bursts from the panel, my entire vision is consumed. Sublimation system officially activated. Host current ability, F-rank water drop. Available sublimations: 1. Consume 1,000 shock points to sublime F-rank water drop. I don't hesitate. Sublime. The instant the thought lands, the gray text reading F-rank water drop on the panel begins to shake violently. The old text shatters. New text assembles. Sublimation successful. Congratulations, host has obtained the one-of-a-kind beyond triple S rank ability, Wrath of the Sea God. Ability description: born of all waters, source wielder of the sea god's authority. Water is the first element of all creation, able to attack, defend, and transform anything. No range limit. No power ceiling. Current shock points balance, 9,045. The golden light fades. I see the real world again. Less than half a second has passed. The blood rage ape is taking its second step toward me. Its massive foot lands on the rails and grinds two of them to scrap. Its enormous palm is already coming down. The shadow swallows me completely. I don't run. I look up. The blood rage ape sees the change in my eyes clearly. My previously black pupils, starting from the very center, are being consumed by a deep, saturated blue, the color of the sea. I speak. My voice is calm, my tone no different from when I'm making a joke. That's not how you use water. I snap my fingers right index against middle, a tiny, unremarkable snap of sound. Then the entire world goes silent. Physically silent. Every sound within 100 meters vanishes in the same instant. What replaces the sound is moisture, every last droplet of water remaining in the steel mill ruins. Water molecules in the rust pores and the ground fissures floating free in the air. All of them receive the same command at the same instant. They move converging from every direction. The ground beneath my feet begins radiating outward in ring after ring of blue patterns, like ripples on water, like some ancient formation diagram. The blood rage ape's palm is 2 meters above my head, and it comes crashing down. The instant the strike lands, a water blue pillar of light 10 meters wide erupts from the blue patterns at my feet, shooting straight into the sky. No warning, no buildup. Inside the pillar, seawater spins at full speed, every cubic centimeter of water molecules rotating faster than the speed of sound. The centrifugal force generated disintegrates anything that makes contact, instantly. The blood rage ape's palm collides with the water pillar and stops. Not a gradual slowdown. A full speed to zero dead stop. The high-speed water carves a shallow line across the ape's palm. Golden liquid begins to flow. For the first time, confusion appears in the blood rage ape's crimson eyes. This human child, barely bigger than an ant, has cut a wound into its palm with water. The blood rage ape swings to scatter the water pillar, or tries to. The pillar reforms in a fraction of a second after being broken apart. Liquid has no fixed shape. Breaking it apart means nothing, it instantly reforms. Done? My voice carries out from the center of the water pillar, with an infuriating calm. My turn. I raise my right hand, fingers spread slightly. The sky visible through the hole in the ceiling changes color. The pale gray sky is swallowed in 3 seconds by a layer of deep blue storm clouds. The clouds accelerate into a spin, forming a massive vortex. What pours in through the ceiling hole is no longer pale gray daylight, it's water. A towering wave descends from above. It splits and reforms in midair, taking the shape of an enormous hand, a hand made of water. It falls from above, precise, unstoppable, closing around the blood rage ape's throat. The 5-meter blood rage ape is locked in place by the hand of water. It thrashes both arms, tearing furiously at the water hand, each time ripping open a gap. But every gap is filled back in within a tenth of a second. Water has no weakness because water has no fixed form. It cannot be shattered. My blue eyes watch the trapped blood rage ape. The numbers on the panel have gone haywire. Ding Sarah's overwhelming shock detected. Shock points plus 200. Ding Layton's extreme terror and cognitive collapse detected. Shock points plus 150. Ding Unknown Lackey's mental breakdown detected. Shock points plus 80. Ding collective shock from multiple observers behind remote monitoring equipment detected. Shock points plus 500. Current shock points balance 9,975. The numbers are still climbing. I watch the blood rage ape and wait for it to tire itself out. The force of its struggles is weakening, not because it's giving up, but because the water hand's grip keeps tightening. Still, it hasn't lost its life force yet. The life force of a tier 3 peak lord. Far more tenacious than anything I've dealt with before. Take your time, I murmur to myself, my tone like someone waiting for a kettle to boil. The blood rage ape doesn't give up. It opens its massive jaws and blasts out a streak of crimson energy, a dark energy shockwave. The blast hits the water hand dead on. The water explodes open in a 3-meter hole, but the hole lasts less than a fifth of a second before the surrounding water rushes back to fill it. I tilt my head slightly. I notice something the moment the blood rage ape released that dark energy shockwave. The dark red skin on its neck faded from deep red to pale red. It's burning its core essence to fight. Enough. I drop the casual expression. Dragging this out serves no purpose. Every extra second means another second of Sarah's injuries worsening. Dissolve. Just one words, and the water hand answers. Not tightening, not squeezing, splitting. The hand breaks apart in 1 second into tens of thousands of thin water streams, each no thicker than a finger, but spinning so fast the naked eye cannot track them. High-pressure water blades over 10,000 streams dissolving simultaneously, wrapping around the blood rage ape's dark red skin from every angle, no blind spots. The armor-grade defense that Sarah's S-rank Frostcleave could only leave a white mark on is cut 3 millimeters deep on the first pass of the water streams, 7 on the second. By the third pass, they're into the muscle layer. The blood rage ape lets out a real scream, a true one. It thrashes with everything it has. But water streams aren't solid. Punching them destroys nothing. A fist passes through the streams, part for the instant of contact, then close right back and keep cutting. 3 seconds. The blood rage ape's right arm separates at the shoulder joint, not severed by a blade, cut simultaneously by 10,000 water streams, with the precision of surgery. The blood rage ape's screams change pitch. What's left is only the fear of death. 5 seconds, the water streams complete their final pass. I release my right hand. The instant my fingers close, all the streams pull back at once, then burst outward, golden light raining down everywhere. The tier 3 peak lord class blood rage ape dissolves into countless points of light. The golden rain curves away at 10 centimeters from my body, arcing around me and falling to the ground behind. My white school uniform is clean enough to hurt your eyes. The core zone goes quiet, truly quiet. A dark red crystal the size of a fist falls from the air, bounces twice on the floor in front of me, and rolls to my feet. A Lord core. I crouch and pick it up. I slide it into my pocket, right next to the rusted coin. I stand and turn to look at Leighton. He's slumped on the ground, staff fragments still embedded in the muscle of his right hand. His eyes are wide open, pupils shrunk to pinpoints. I walk over. No dust on my uniform, no sweat on my face. I crouch down and look Leighton in the eye. Leighton's teeth knock harder against each other. His mouth is moving, but only meaningless fragments of sound come out. Nice beast lure powder, I say, completely casual. Next time, remember to bring an antidote for yourself in case you can't get away. Leighton finally pieces together a full sentence. Hallucination? His voice is thin and high. This has to be a hallucination. You're F rank. F rank water drop, how is this possible? He raises his good left hand and slaps himself hard across the face. The sharp crack echoes across the open space. Not dreaming. Another slap. Impossible. So much for Lin family intelligence. F rank weakling? I watch him for 2 seconds, then stand. Stop hitting yourself. Your face will swell. With that, I stop looking at Leighton and turn to walk toward Sarah. The shock points on the panel are still ticking. Leighton's entire belief system has collapsed. Shock points plus 300. Sarah is still in the same position, one knee on the ground. Both vibroblades driven into the ground are her only support. Her breathing is short and shallow, but her eyes are sharp. Ice blue eyes watching me approach, and behind them, too much to name, shock, confusion, calculation. Your ability isn't F rank. She speaks first, her voice rough but precise. I stop 3 steps in front of her. It was 10 minutes ago. Sarah goes quiet. She has 100 questions, but her training tells her this isn't the time for an interrogation. How long can you sustain that ability? She asks the one that matters most. My ability reserves took about 30% in that fight. Enough, Sarah nods. Then she makes a decision. She reaches into the inner pocket of her coat and pulls out a compact communicator. She presses the red button. Military emergency channel, this is Sarah. ID Sierra 017. Her voice snaps back to a soldier's crispness. Avonmore, Eastern District, abandoned steel mill assessment zone S rank or above, emergency in progress. Tier 3 peak Lord class blood rage ape has been eliminated. I am injured. Student casualties on site. Requesting immediate support. 3 seconds of silence from the other end. Then a middle-aged man's voice comes through, tight and controlled. Tier 3 peak Lord eliminated. Sarah, confirm? Confirmed. Was it you who took it down? Sarah glances at me. I'm crouched on the ground, fishing the rusted coin from my pocket and spinning it between my fingers. The core zone is a complete wreck in the aftermath of the golden light, and I'm crouching at the center of it, all spotless and bored-looking. It wasn't me, Sarah says. Then who? The one who did it is a student taking the combat assessment. Sarah cuts him off. Her voice is completely level. Registered ability rank at awakening F. 5 seconds of silence from the other end. Then a sharp crack, the sound of a teacup shattering. 3 floors underground at the Eastern Military Substation in Avonmore. 24 high-definition screens are embedded in the walls of the monitoring center. Screen 7 covers the abandoned steel mill zone. Right now, 11 people are crowded in front of that screen. Among them, the highest commanding officer of the substation, General Gray, an old man, 62 years old, lean and sparse, wearing a plain gray uniform with no rank insignia. Left hand holding a teacup where it was half a minute ago. Shattered porcelain pieces are scattered on the floor. Everyone's eyes are locked. On screen 7. The footage on screen has been pulled to replay starting from the moment the blood rage ape appeared, through the hand of water materializing from nothing, the streams of water attacking, the rain of golden light. Every frame slowed down and played back 3 times. The energy detection data panel on the right side of the screen, at the moment the blood rage ape was eliminated, became a wall of red exclamation marks. Peak readings off the charts. Reed, head of the technical team, sounds slightly dazed. We deployed Type 7 energy detectors. Maximum range corresponds to triple S rank. Today it didn't max out, it overflowed. The peak reading exceeded the triple S upper limit by at least 40%. Nobody in the monitoring center speaks. General Gray stares at the teenager in the white uniform on the screen. The replay is paused at the moment the battle ends. Me, crouching at the center of the golden light-covered core zone, turning a coin in my hand, not a speck of dust on my uniform. Pull his file, General Gray says. 30 seconds later, my student records are projected onto the main screen. Name, KL. Age, 17. Awakening rank, F. Ability water drop. Notes, none. Impossibly clean. F rank water drop. General Gray's eyes move away from the file. Back to the replay footage. On screen, the hand of water descends from the sky. Honestly, there's something in that image like the beauty of an ancient fresco. Beyond triple S rank. Reed confirms his data one more time. General, to my knowledge, across the entire Federation, there are currently only 3 registered triple S rank awakeners. Beyond triple S rank, theoretical literature has a term for it. Mythic rank. But that concept has stayed in academic papers for 20 years. Now it doesn't. General Gray bends down and picks up a shard of his teacup from the floor. Encrypt this footage to the highest level. Everyone present from this second on, everything you saw today is classified at the highest military level. Disclosure to any unauthorized personnel. Military tribunal. 10 people answer in unison. General Gray straightens up. Communications, connect me to Sarah's channel. Sarah, where is that student right now? Right beside me, a brief pause. He's flipping over the ironclad beasts, General Gray blinks. Flipping them. The ones he knocked over with the water film, they ended up in a pile. A few of them are stuck on their backs and can't right themselves. He's helping them flip over. There's something strange in Sarah's tone. Not sarcasm. More like a kind of absurdity she genuinely can't process. General Gray doesn't ask further about the flipping. Sarah, how are your injuries? 3 ribs severely damaged, left lung bruised, still holding. Support and medical are already en route. 6 minutes out, listen carefully. General Gray takes 2 seconds to choose his words. Before support arrives, do not take any action toward that student that could be perceived as threatening. No interrogation, no restriction of his movement. Understood? One more thing, the beast lure powder Leighton used during the assessment. Did you see it? I saw everything. Good. Preserve the evidence. Channel closed. General Gray stands at the center of the monitoring room, staring at the frozen figure on screen 7. A staff officer beside him ventures carefully. General, what do we do with this student? The word "do with" makes General Gray's brow crease. Do with him? He asks back. A 17-year-old kid shoved out as cannon fodder by the Vanguard bait unit, had beast lure powder smeared on his clothes by a classmate who planned to use the chaos to get rid of him, and in those circumstances, he